Hey guys, my name is Solomon or Dino Boy. And I'm 12 years old. Nice, you know. I want to share a scientific idea that I've been having for a long time. I know I've been out for a very long time. I've been working on this idea. It's going to be a game changer. This idea is about a new type of brain computer interface that could help people who are visually impaired understand the world around them in a completely new way. Before I start, I want to be clear about something. This concept and a scientific idea, real medical technology takes years of research, testing, and collaboration with experts. And that's why I'm making this video. I hope to share this concept publicly and possibly connect with people who are interested in neuroscience and engineering or brain computer interfaces. Because sometimes big ideas start with one question: what if the brain could sense the environment directly? Keep that in mind. Many people around the world live with severe visual impairments or blindness. Current technology helps in many ways, like there are tools like guide dogs, smart canes, and devices that can convert images into sound. These are very helpful but still rely on the user's interpret information directly. My idea asks a different question. Instead of translating the environment into sounds or vibrations, what if we could sense information directly into the part of the brain that normally processes vision? That part of the brain is called the visual cortex, located in the occipital lobe of the brain. Scientists in the field of neuroscience have studied this area for decades, and the research already exploring brain computer interfaces that can simulate parts of the brain. So the question becomes, could we build a system that allows the brain to sense the environment through electrical indirection? Interaction. Sorry, I'm getting all my words mixed up. One of the biggest interpretation in- inspiration for this idea actually comes from nature. This is an animal called the platypus. You may have seen this animal in popular shows like Phineas and Ferb. This platypus has remarkable biological abilities called electroreception. It can detect extremely small electrical signals produced by other animals in the water using receptors in its bill. This allows the platypus to locate prey even when they can't rely on normal vision. In other words, it can sense its environment using electrical information. That made me think about the interesting possibility. If an animal like the platypus could interpret electrical signals from their environment, could technology help the human brain do something similar? My concept involves a device implanted on the skull and connected with a small wire to the occipital lobe of the brain. This is a device that would communicate directly with the visual cortex, but instead of using cameras or normal visual sensors, this system will work differently. This device would generate very small electrical pulses that will radiate outwards into the surrounding environment. These pulses would move through the environment, interacting with objects in a room. When the pulses encounter surfaces like walls, furniture, or even people, these would change in subtle ways. Those altered signals would then return to the system. The device the device would direct the returning patterns and convert them into signals the brain can interpret. Those signals would then be delivered to the visual cortex. Instead of normal vision, the brain might experience patterns, spatial awareness, or shape. Over time, the brain could learn how to interpret those signals. This would create something very important, a feedback loop. The brain will send out signals outwards through the system, and the information will change those signals. And those informations will return to the brain. Also, 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 it will charge during sleep. So I have like two sections. One is like the main component that's delivering the electrical juices, and then that one's like, and there will be a second one that has like a is a sort of backup. Like when that one is low, that when that one is finished, is the energy is finished, the second one will boot up. The second section will boot up, and then that will deliver a signal showing that it's low on charge and that it needs to be charged. It will be charged both at sleeping, when you sleep, and it'll have a wireless charging. This what makes what makes sense that an interesting idea is the possibility of creating a completely new sensory pathway. Humans normally understand the world through five senses: vision, hearing, touch, taste, and smell. But the brain is extremely adaptable. Research shows that the brain can learn to interpret new kinds of environment. For example, people can learn to navigate using sensory substitute devices. So this idea here is that the brain could learn to interpret electrospatial information. Instead of seeing light, the brain would interpret patterns created by the environment in interaction with electrical pulses. If something like this were possible in the future, it will allow people to build mental maps of the space around them: walls, doors, people, movement, distance, all interpret through the brain itself. The system in my concept would include several parts. Most of the implants mounted on the skull. Second, connections to the visual cortex of the occ- occipital lobe. Third, a system that translates environments feedback loop into the brain. This device could potentially be powered through wireless charging while the user sleeps, so it could operate during the day. Of course, building something like this will require incredible expertise: neurosurgeons, electrical engineers, neuroscientists, signal processing experts, medical researchers. This is not something one person can build. But if you're interested in science and you know a bit of your facts, come contact me. It'll need a full research team. Or I know I'm young, but history shows that ideas can come from anybody. Many breakthroughs can start with curiosity and imagination. That is why I'm sharing my ideas publicly. If you are a researcher, engineer, neuroscientist, or somebody interested in the brain, computer interfaces, I would love to hear your thoughts. Maybe this idea could inspire discussions, research, or improvement. Even my concepts change, explore, view ideas. This is how moves. This is how science moves forward. If you found this concept interesting, please share this video. Maybe the right person will see it and start a conversation. Science grows through collaboration, and who knows? Maybe one day technology inspired by nature, like platypuses, could help people inspire the world in entirely new ways. Thanks for watching. Subscribe! Woo! Together we can make a world a better place. It just ta- it just takes It just takes two people or a whole team to make a great idea.